We hear a lot about stem cells these days. But what are they? Where do they come from? And what do we really know about them? Inside our bodies, there's a microscopic world, busy and complex like the world around us. Stem cells build and maintain this world. This is a story of stem cells and their lives inside and outside our bodies. Life begins with one cell, the fertilized egg. Throughout development, cells divide over and over again to produce the billions of cells that make up the body. At certain stages, most cells stop making copies of themselves and start to specialize. When we are fully formed, almost all of our cells are specialized.
Cells are very beautiful things when you see them down the microscope. Normally they're so minuscule we can't see them, even though they won't make us all. And each type of cell has its own characteristic. Some types of cell grow together, very closely together, and form beautiful patterns. Other types of cell will move away from one another. Some cells become big, other cells are always very small. It depends on what type of cell they are.
These different cell types work in specialized teams. Some carry oxygen through the blood system. Some do the stretching and contracting in our muscles. Some carry messages between our brain and the rest of our body. Stem cells are already useful in medicine. One skin stem cell alone can produce enough specialized skin cells to cover the whole body. This produced a breakthrough in the treatment of extensive burns. If they are not used for a pregnancy, they can be donated for research.
In the early embryo, there's a group of cells that can give rise to all the tissues of the body. These cells are the ones we're very, very interested in, because we know that we can take the cells from the early embryo and grow them in culture and maintain them in a state where they can contribute to all the tissues.
These lab-grown human cells, produced in large numbers, provide improved models for testing and screening new medical treatments, and may reduce the need for animal testing. The same cells may also help us understand what goes wrong in complex diseases, like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and diabetes. Stem cell research is a fast-moving field. Around the world, new findings are constantly reported, creating new questions and fresh challenges for scientists seeking to harness these cells and to shape future medicine.
Those who oppose embryonic stem cell research are generally people who follow the Catholic faith or the morals surrounding the Catholic faith. These people believe that even embryos have a soul. Therefore, the destroying of an embryo through embryonic stem cell research is murder. Many opposers also believe that if embryonic stem cell research were to prosper, embryos would be created solely to be destroyed, creating a modern-day genocide.
A federal judge recently ruled it's illegal for government money to be spent on embryonic stem cell research. The ruling has reignited what has always been a very hot debate. Some scientists say research is crucial to developing new treatments for disease, but others say that adult stem cells present just as much scientific opportunity. Well, let's debate it. Dr. James Shirley is a stem cell researcher and was a plaintiff in this lawsuit that resulted in the latest decision. And Dr. Art Kaplan is the director of the Center for Bioethics at the University of Pennsylvania. Gentlemen, welcome to you both.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Green.
All right, Dr. Shirley, I want to start with you. Why take on this lawsuit?
Well, we're taking on this lawsuit because it's an important action in terms of preserving the quality of science and making sure that taxpayer dollars are being used to the best that they can be. More specifically, the problem is that human embryonic stem cell research has three problems. One of them is the research is unethical. It's unethical because embryos are living human beings, and this research knowingly leads to their injury and their death. The second reason is because the research as proposed is illegal. We have a law in this country that says this type of research, which leads to such injuries to human research subjects, is illegal. And the third thing is that the public needs to understand that in the absence of human embryonic stem cell research, as it has been described, there is no loss to our abilities to have better therapies for the many diseases that patients suffer from.
Right.
And the reason for that is that there are alternatives, such as adult stem cell research, and we shouldn't forget conventional disease research, which has been ongoing in this country for many years.
All right, let me bring in Dr. Kaplan and give him a chance to respond. I mean, is it accurate to say that we could do the same research in different ways on adult stem cells and get the same information or results?
We absolutely don't know yet. Adult stem cell research has certainly been productive, but there are many, many scientists, the majority of scientists, I think, working in the stem cell area, who say we've got to explore the embryo option too. Remember, we're talking here about a policy that both President Bush and President Obama permitted. This lawsuit hasn't stopped embryonic stem cell research. It's put it back in the private sector, and it's driving it overseas. China, Korea, India, many nations in Europe are still pursuing it. So this is not a ban or an ending. It's basically saying we're going to buy any cures that develop from overseas. Most importantly, the compromise we reached in this country was to use embryos stored at infertility clinics that were going to be destroyed anyway. So we're not encouraging embryo destruction. We're taking advantage of the fact that we have hundreds of thousands of embryos fated to be destroyed, some of which would be donated for research. That seems to me to be the sound public policy.
Dr. Shirley, if that's the case, these embryos were going to be
That
discarded
isn't the
anyway, would that be okay with you?
That isn't the case, and I think what the public needs to hear is that this statement, and it's one that people resonate with because they hear, well, they're going to be thrown away anyway, and if we didn't throw them away, we'd get these great cures from it. That's the big misconception. There have been estimated to be about 400,000 embryos that are available in this country, and the number that is in the same report that might be available for research is only 11,000. And people
11,000 embryos would go pretty far. You'd get a lot of research done from 11,000 embryos.
No one said that even that 11,000 are going to be available. So I think it's a myth that there's so many available. And I would also put forward, since they are living human beings, our population, our society should stop and ask even if we should use those 11,000. Now, the other issue in terms of what types of research that can be done, again, we've been told that there are these things that embryonic stem cells, human embryonic stem cells, are going to bring to us. And in some ways, this is sort of put in the sort of typical research mode, and we understand that we can't predict where research is going.
All right, Dr. Kaplan, quickly, I want to give you the final word here to wrap us up.
It seems to me we've got a situation where we may find alternatives to adult stem cell research if we explore embryonic. People in wheelchairs, children with diabetes, they deserve the right to have this aggressively explored, and this lawsuit is making that impossible in terms of federal funding. It's slowing it down, and that's not right.
We will continue to watch the case as this plays out. They need to have an opportunity
to have the truth.
Doctors, thank you both very much for your time today. We know this debate is far from over. Thank you.